Out of My Mind, Chapter 9. When I was 8, things changed. I think I knew Mom was going to have a baby even before she did. She smelled different, like new soap. Her skin felt softer and warmer. She picked me up out of bed one morning, then almost let me fall back on the mattress. "Whew," she said. "You're getting awfully heavy, Melody. I'm going to have to start lifting weights." Her forehead had broken out in a sweat. I don't think I'd gained any weight. It was Mom who was different. She sat down on the chair next to my bed for a few minutes, then suddenly ran out of the room. I heard her throwing up in the bathroom. She came back a few minutes later looking pale. Her breath smelled like mouthwash. "I must have eaten something funky," she mumbled as she got me dressed. But I think she knew even then. I bet she was scared. When Mom finally figured it out, she sat down with me to break the news. "Melody, I have something wonderful to tell you." I did my best to look curious. "You're going to have a baby brother or sister real soon." I grinned and did my best imitation of surprise and excitement. I reached out and hugged her. Then I patted her stomach and pointed to myself. She knew what I meant. She looked me right in the eye. "We're going to pray that this little one is fat and fine and healthy," she told me. "You know we love you, Melody, just as you are, but we're hoping this child doesn't have to face the challenges that you do." Me too. From then on, she put Dad in charge of lifting me, and although she never talked about it again in front of me, I knew she was worried. She gobbled gigantic green vitamin pills, ate lots of fresh oranges and apples, and she had this habit of touching her bulging belly and mumbling a prayer. I could tell that Dad was scared too, but his worry showed up in funny little ways, like bringing Mom piles of purple irises, her favorite flower, or fixing her gallons of grape Kool-Aid, or big plates of grapes. I don't know what made Mom crave purple stuff. Instead of watching hours and hours of the Discovery Channel, I found myself in my room, staring at an empty TV screen, just thinking in the silence. I knew that a new baby was really time-consuming, and I also knew that I took up a lot of time. How would my parents ever have time for both of us? Then a really horrible thought popped into my brain. What if they decided to look into Dr. Hughley's suggestions? I couldn't make the thought go away. One Saturday afternoon, a few months before the baby was born, I curled up on our sofa, dozing. Mom had put pillows around me to make sure I didn't fall off. Butterscotch slept nearby, and Dad's favorite jazz station played a saxophone snoozer. Mom and Dad sat together on the smaller sofa, talking together quietly. I'm sure they thought I was asleep. "What if," Mom said, her voice tight. "It won't be, honey. The chances are so small," Dad replied, but he sounded unsure. "I couldn't bear it," Mom told him. "You could find the strength," he said calmly, "but it's not going to happen. The odds are—" "But what if?" she insisted, interrupting him. And for only the second time I could remember, my mother started to cry. "Everything is going to be fine," my father said, trying to soothe her. "We've got to think positive thoughts." "It's all because of me," my mother said softly. I perked up and listened harder. "What do you mean?" Dad asked. "It's my fault that Melody is like she is." Mom was crying really hard then. I could hardly make out her words. "Diane, that's crazy. You can't hold on to that kind of guilt. These things just happen." I could tell Dad was trying to be reasonable. "No, I'm the mother," she wailed. "It was my job to bring a child into the world safely, and I screwed it up. Every other woman on the planet is able to give birth to a normal baby, but there must be something wrong with me." "Sweetheart, it's not your fault. It's not your fault." I could hear him pull my mom to him. "But Chuck, I'm so scared this baby is going to be messed up too," she said in a shuddering voice. "Please don't go there. Don't even think like that," Dad murmured. "Statistically, what are the chances? 2 children who—" And I suddenly couldn't hear him any more because my head was pulsing with the things I wanted to say but couldn't. I wanted to tell my mom that I was sorry she was so sad and so scared, that it wasn't her fault, that I was just the way I was and she had nothing to do with it. The part that hurt the most is I couldn't tell her any of it. During Mom's entire pregnancy, however, my parents' attention to me never wavered, even though, I worried that it would. Dad did lots more as Mom got closer to her due date. He did some of the laundry, most of the cooking, and all the lifting and carrying. I got to school on time every day, got my stories read to me every night, and the three of us waited and hoped and prayed. But Penny was born perfect and copper bright, just like her name. From the minute she came home from the hospital, she was a really happy baby. Mom truly did carry a little bundle of joy into the house. But I guess a new baby is rough on any parents, especially if they already have a kid like me at home. Sometimes there would be arguments. I could hear them through the bedroom wall. "I need more help around here, Chuck," Mom would say, trying to keep her voice low. "Well, you pay more attention to the baby than you do to me." "If you'd help more, I'd have more time for you. With 2 kids and one of them Melody, it's not easy. I have to go to work, you know. I have a job too, don't throw that in my face. Plus, I'm up twice a night to nurse the baby." I know, I'm sorry, Diane." Dad always softened and let Mom win. "I'm just so tired all the time," Mom would say, her voice muffled. "I'm sorry. I'll do better, I promise. I'll take off work tomorrow and take care of both girls. Why don't you go catch a movie or take Miss Valencia out to lunch?" It would get quiet once more, but even so, somehow I always ended up feeling a teeny bit guilty. Life sure would be easier if they had only one child, one with working parts. I once got one of those electronic dolls for Christmas. It was supposed to talk and cry and move its arms and legs if you pushed the right buttons. But when we opened the box, one of the arms had come off, and all the doll did, no matter which button you pushed, was squeak. Mom took it back to the store and got her money back. I wonder if she ever wished she could get a refund from me. But Penny really was a perfect baby. After just a few months, she was sleeping through the night and smiling through each day. She sat up exactly when infants are supposed to, rolled over right on schedule, and crawled on cue. Amazing. And it seemed so easy. Sure, she fell on her face a few times, but once she got it, she was off. Penny zoomed around like a little wind-up toy. She learned that the toilet was fun to splash in and that lamps will fall if you grab the cord. She learned that golden retrievers are not ponies. Peas taste funny. Dead flies on the floor are a no-no, and candy is really good. She laughed all the time. She learned her sister Melody couldn't do what she could do, but she didn't seem to care. So I tried not to care either. Dad and his camcorder followed Penny around like the paparazzi follow a rock star. We have hundreds of hours of footage of Penny being cute and doing adorable things. And well, I admit it, sometimes I got kind of sick of watching a new video every time she learned something new. It sort of sucks to watch a baby do what you wish you could do. Penny holding her own bottle. Penny feeding herself teeny tiny Cheerios from her high chair tray. Penny saying Mama and Dada just like the babies on Sesame Street. Penny crawling on the floor and chasing butterscotch. Penny clapping her hands. How did her little brain know how to tell her to pull herself up to a standing position? To hold on to the sofa for balance? How did she know how to stand on her own? Sometimes she'd fall over and then she'd pop right back up. Never ever did she lie there, stuck like a turtle on its shell. Dad still did our nighttime reading, but now it was Penny who snuggled on his lap. I was too big and too hard to balance, so I sat in my wheelchair, my dog at my feet, as the two of them read the stories I knew by heart. Butterscotch still slept only in my room. I liked that. It really did make me glad to know Penny was learning the same books I loved so much. I wondered if she was memorizing them. Probably not. She didn't need to. I think Penny's third word was Dee. She couldn't quite say melody, but she got the last part. I loved it when Mom put Penny in the bed with me after her morning bath. She'd grab me and plant wet baby face, powder-smelling kisses all over my face. Dee, she'd say, again and again. By the time she was 1 year old, Penny could walk. She wobbled all over the house on her fat little legs. She fell a lot, dropping down on her butt and laughing every time she did. Then she'd get back up and try it again. That was something I'd never get to try. With 2 kids in the house, our family routines changed. It took twice as long to get everybody ready each morning. Mom made sure Penny was dressed in pretty little outfits every day, even though she was just going next door to Miss V's house. My clothes were okay, but I was noticing that lately they were more useful than cute. Mom seemed to be choosing them by how easy they'd be to get on me. It was kind of a bummer, but I knew I was getting heavier and heavier to lift, and so changing me was harder. I probably should mention that feeding me is a real process. I can't chew very well, so I mostly get soft foods like scrambled eggs or oatmeal or applesauce. Since I can't hold a fork or spoon, I try, but I keep dropping them. Someone has to place the food into my mouth, one spoonful at a time. It's slow. Spoon, slurp, swallow. Spoon, slurp, swallow. Lots of food falls on the floor. Butterscotch likes that. She's like a canine vacuum cleaner. Drinking stuff is hard for me, too. I can't hold a glass and I can't sip from a straw, so somebody has to very carefully hold a cup to my lips and tip a little bit of liquid into my mouth so I can swallow. Too much, and I choke and cough, and we have to start all over. It takes a long time to get a meal in me. I hate the whole process, obviously. And some mornings were really stressful. Chuck, can you bring me Melody's pink t-shirt from the clean clothes basket? She spilled juice all over her shirt, Mom yelled up the stairs. Didn't you put a bib on her, Diane? Dad yelled back. You know she makes a mess. Why don't you wait and dress her after she eats? So you want me to feed her naked? Just bring the shirt, Mom snapped. And a diaper for Penny. She's got a stinker. She's 2. Isn't she old enough to be potty trained? Dad asked, coming down the stairs with a blue t-shirt I had outgrown in one hand and a diaper in the other. Right. I'll get to potty training tonight on the 25th hour of my day. Dad picked Penny up. Uh-oh, that's a bad one, he said, his nose scrunched up. Did you give her sweet potatoes again last night? I thought we stopped giving her those because they always give her the runs. Well, if you had gone to the grocery store like I asked, I could have given her something different. And that shirt is blue, not pink, and too small for Melody. Mom stormed out of the kitchen and up the stairs. Sorry, girls, Dad said to us. He whistled softly while he cleaned Penny up, threatening to call the hazmat team. That was funny. Then he finished feeding me breakfast, not caring that my oatmeal was getting all over the juice-stained shirt. Why not? May as well make a real mess and make it worth all the stress, he said with a laugh. I smiled at him and smeared oatmeal on my tray. Mom came back down with fresh makeup and a freshly painted-on smile, her hair done, and my pink shirt. She and Dad hugged in the kitchen. Both took a deep breath, and we actually made it out of the house on time. We had lots of days like that.